Hey all, Ms. Rebelke here again. I just want to walk you through the digital storytelling storyboard. This is the second step in your instructions for your slideshow planning in your assignment. So hopefully you're watching this screencast. It does say important and is highlighted since today is an asynchronous day. I want to make sure that you understand what you need to complete, considering the storyboard is different than the planning document you filled out for your podcast. And this is because we're including new elements into the type of digital story you are telling. Your podcast was audio, and this is going to include more than just audio. So you can refer back to this screencast if you have questions as you fill out your storyboard. All right, let's get started. So the very first thing you do is just circle or highlight the fact that we are going to be working on your slideshow. Okay, that's the one you're working on today. Now, a couple of things are going to change just a little bit due to the way that we have to do this. The very first thing you're going to see is that the top row here, right here, this is the first thing that you're going to fill out. It says images/clips. So you're going to describe or sketch it out. In this case, because a slideshow uses still photos, the fastest way, and I think the easiest way, will be for you to describe the photo you want to use. Now, since the story you're going to be telling is one of your own personal stories, the best thing to do is to find real photos that you have from around the house. Please try to find ones that, if your story is about you or your friends or your family or a trip you went on or something that happened, if you have actual photos that can connect to that story, please find them. The last resort would be to find some and search them on the internet. However, of course, since the story is about you, the best thing would be to include photos from the experience, or ones that could at least connect to it or represent it. Or maybe there's even a way to take a picture of something in your house that could also be used. So in this case, like I said, the images are going to be photos that you're going to be putting into your slideshow. Okay, so this would be slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5, etc. And you may decide that the very first thing that you see on your slideshow is the introduction. So you might decide that this would be just a page with a text, okay? In that case, you can see down here, and I'll come back to this later, down here at the bottom, it says text overlay on the screen. So then you may decide that you're going to put your title of the story and then your name. That might be the first slide that someone sees when they look at your digital story. So then up here for your introduction page, you might just decide that your photo is maybe just a color block or a design. Okay, it doesn't have to be an actual photo for your first one. So you want to think about that as well. I think the smart thing to do would be to kind of complete them by columns like this. So you can see that if the first page of your digital story is just your introduction page, and you know that your image here is just going to be a picture of a color or a design, okay, then you have to decide how many seconds that's going to be. And this is general. You can decide, okay, maybe it's going to take them 5 to 6 seconds to read the title of your story. And then you have, this next part's going to be about what your voiceover is going to be, what will be said in this part of your storyboard. And you can see that it says each part of your story needs to be written here. This is really important so that you chunk out your story correctly. Okay, and you can break apart your story however you want. You may have a lot of pictures you want to use, so you might not have that much story per picture that you're going to include in your slideshow, or that picture may be used in more with more story, so it might need to be on the screen longer. though you should have multiple pictures in your slideshow. It shouldn't be just you telling the story with one picture, okay? So then your voice over here might be your introduction, right? So, hi, my name is Mrs. Rebelke. I'm here to tell you about this story, right? And so that might just be the voice overlay, and you might want to introduce then the title of your story. And that's what you're going to write there. Now, of course, I scribbled a little bit at the end because I don't want this video to take up too much of your time. But the more specific and detailed you are in your storyboard, in your planning, the easier the actual creation of your slideshow is going to be. So once you have picked out your story, the very first thing you might want to do is think about the type of photos you want to use or what you actually have available to you so you can plan out your slideshow as you go. And of course, this is your storyboard, so things could change along the way as you're actually creating your slideshow. The amount of seconds, or the time that is spent on that picture may change, or you may decide to change the picture, but you at least need to have a plan to start with, okay? And then make sure as you go down this very first row that you fill each part out. So you've already filled out, right? I know that this is going to be just a color block. I'm thinking it's going to be about 5 to 6 seconds. My introduction, hi, my name is Mrs. Rebelke. I'm going to tell the story of, and then you can have that text overlay. And then the only thing missing here is, will I have some type of music or audio that I want to have? So I may not have music that plays all the way through. I might decide that I just want to have some type of introduction or background music or conclusion. And so those might be coming in and out in different parts of your story. Okay. So in this case, maybe I'm going to come up with like some happy tune for first slide. And of course, then you'll play around with how loud that is, because if I'm speaking, right, you want to be able to hear me over the music. All right. So that's how you're going to go about filling out your storyboard. Okay. And then you'll just take it slide by slide. So if this is just my introduction, the next slide in my slideshow, the next picture might be the beginning of my story. And I'm just writing that down as a way to show you, but I want you to actually start chunking your story out. And at the very, very, very least, you're putting down the bullet points that you're going to talk about for your story, or you may need to use multiple boxes and know that your picture is going to be in multiple slides because it's going to be a little bit longer. Okay. And so again, you do not have to sketch out the photo in this case. I think the easier thing would be to just explain what picture you're going to use. So maybe the story you're telling is going to be at the time that you and your family went up to your cabin up north. So maybe the very first picture I would put up would be picture of cabin up north. And then as I start my story, that's the picture that is seen, because maybe I'm going to start out my story by describing and setting the scene of where the cabin is. And then I might decide that I don't want any music playing at this part, so I'm just going to exit out there. And then I may not have a text overlay on the screen. Text overlay could be a title or a credit, or you could be labeling something. So you may not always use each single piece of the storyboard. Now, of course, because it is a slideshow and that's the type of story you're telling, you of course always want to have some type of picture on the screen, and then you need to be narrating your story. You're also going to see when you put this into Notability that there are like 7 pages. You don't need to use all 7 pages of this storyboard. We just wanted to make sure that you had as many pages as you needed to complete this. So your story will probably be longer than just the first 5 on this page. So you should continue to plan it out until your story is complete. So I hope this helps you with planning your slideshow. just be, the biggest things will be to be thinking about the pictures you want to use and how they connect to the story you're telling at the time. You want to make sure the part of the story you're in connects to the picture that is up on the slideshow. So good luck and have fun. We're excited to see the stories you're going to tell.